Okay, welcome to our weekly learning. Unbelievable. In our office, what a busy time it is. It's the Zman of Elul. For the rest of the world, everyone's getting back to school, back to work, and our holy people also. We are back to yeshiva, back to learning, back to working. Truth is, we never took a break in this office, so we're already like professional the whole year. Let's go. So we're learning, thank God, Hilchos Elul, halachas of Elul, which is very appropriate. And we're also learning the Parshas Shoftim in Nesivos Shalom, Tzedek Tilderof. The reason why I chose this Torah is because this was the engagement Shabbos that I celebrated a special Kiddush. And we had a little vort kind of thing. And I said at the vort, Sadka Memenu, like the idea that she's more righteous than me. And that ended up being the Parsha. We got married not so soon after. So everything's in a good time. And remember to tell your wife she's correct. That would be generally the right advice for happy marriage. So we're holding right now in Kitzur Shulchan Aruch, which is what we're learning, very important halachas. We've been talking about the whole Zman of Sliechot and Psalm Chazan, 27th Psalm, Tehillim, the concept of the David Hashem Uri and bringing down Yunus Rachamim, a special time to bring down Rachamim to your people and to your family and to the people you care about. This is what we do. So it says here in Hashliach Sibor Shama Slichos, we have to look at the person who's the one who's saying Slichos. He needs to be a Chazan who's leading the Slichos. Baruch Hashem, over here we already mentioned we have Rav Shlomo Katz, and I already got my tickets for his Motzi Shabbos Slichos. Be'ezrat Hashem, it's Ate Betalis Mitzuyses. He should wrap himself with Betalis with Mitzuyses, with Tzitzis. Kodem Shemitchil Ashrei. Before he begins Ashrei, Lefi Sheish Safek, there's a question. Im Yivarech Bracha or Talis Shalo. So this halacha 6, the 6th halacha in Hilchos Elul, the month of Elul, the laws of Yivarech Bracha al Talis Shalo. One should recite a blessing upon his own talis, kishavusha balayla, when donning it at night. So this is a question whether you're meant to say a bracha on the talis at night, because it's a mitzvah that you do during the day when the light begins to enter the world, and therefore you shouldn't be so quick to just make a bracha. You should actually wait till either you're doing slichos during the day where there's no problem, or we're going to see a solution here. Levusha Laila, when one is donning at night, or loy. So that's the question. If you're putting on talis at night, it's a big question. Mi shekashala, one who's standing. Wait a minute. I'm just jumping. Here we go. Or yivarech, or you should not recite it. Or lo yivarech. Al kain lo yito etz shalo. Therefore, he should not take his own talis. So this is the 8th. So the Rav Shlomo, if he was davening at night and he puts a talis on, he should take the talis of the Beis Knesset or someone else. And v'gam lo talis hakal. Oh, it says no, you shouldn't take the one of the kahal, because then it does become a shal of a bracha. Ela yishar lo talis mu'ucha. Rather, he should borrow the talis from someone else. So that's the 8th. So take a talis from someone else, and then you don't have to make a bracha because you're just borrowing it. And we're talking about Motzi Shabbos Slichos, or because the night time, or we're talking about early morning, 3, 4, 5 in the morning, before Shkias Chama. So before any, way after Shkias Chama. I'm talking about the other way around. Before the rising of Alas Hashacha. So there's a time just after Alas Hashacha where you still aren't able to make a bracha on tzitzis until you recognize your friend Daled Amos. So once you're in that time frame, which is around 72 minutes before the Zman of Zricha, the man of Vesikina, there's one where the sun is starting to shine on the horizon. So that until that point, that time frame, you can say a bracha and a talis, but not before the time you can recognize your friend from Daled Amos. So the idea is that you should wait, and he's looking in the zmanim. So basically, all night you can't really make a blessing on a talis. Yeah, what should you do? You borrow the shul's talis? No, that's not good enough, because that's why I thought first. You don't do that, because then you can also make a bracha, according to some opinions on that. What's the eitzah? Borrow your friend's talis, because now you mamish don't own it. There's no question of a blessing. So once there's no question of a blessing, just put it on without a blessing. This is for our Chazan. So Rav Shlomo Katz will be doing that Motzi Shabbos. because he knows the halacha Baruch Hashem. What happens if you don't have any talis? You're on the road, like happened. I mean, even the truth is, when we went to Uman and we're davening in the middle of nowhere, Sliechot, because we're waiting outside an airport, whatever it was, with all the traveling we do. So we still had talesim because everyone came with a talesim. So the question is when you don't have a talis, in the middle of mamish nowhere and you don't have a talis. The Chazan may recite, including the Pasha's 13 attributes, gambalo talis. He can still do the avodah. You don't have a talis, a preshul, you can still say Hashem Hashem ka rachum v'chanan erech apayim rav chesed v'emes noz chesed olef yinosam v'chesed v'chata v'nach cheslach. That whole thing. You can say that whole 30 minutes of Machmim, all the different attributes of Hashem. You're bringing down mercy to the world. Like we said, the 13 Shem Havayas, the David Hashem right now, we're saying already, and the Svardim already begun Slichos, so they're already bringing down the Rachmim of Mamish, of the Yidgim Mitzvah Machmim. You can say that without a talis. It's not a problem. Yesh Mekoimis Nogin. The person which is Palo Slichos, and one who leads the Slichos, Miss Palo Gam Shachris and Mincha, is also the Chazan Shachris and Mincha. So obviously this is Hungarian posek, the Kitzur Shulchan Aruch. So he says there's such a concept when in the morning and the afternoon, I don't know if this is what they did in Hungary, but somewhere they did it, that he would say B'chazan would have to lead the tefillahs. So I remember that when back in the day, when I used to daven Baruch Hashem by Tzaddikim, they'd use the same Chazan for Motzi Shabbos for Rosh Hashanah, for Musaf, which is also what, once again, Rosh Shlomo Katz is doing in Shirat David, because he's leading the Motzi Shabbos, Slichos, the first night of Slichos, and then he ends up becoming a Chazan for Motzi, for Musaf, Rosh Hashanah, both days, I think. So we have the schus to have a big Chazan in our community. It's worth being there. And I actually just bought my tickets for Rosh Hashanah Yom Kippur. I bought my seats, Baruch Hashem. Slichos including igam below talis, even without a talis. Yesh mekos noga, the places where it's customary shispalo slichos. The one who leads slichos prayers mispalo gam shachris and mincha, gam mariv lefanav, as well as the mariv on the preceding night. Who kodem la'avul mo. In that way, it's said of a mourner of a mo, a liyotza, even who has observing yotza. So it's such a powerful minhag. The person who leads this special tefillahs that bring rachamim, mercy, and kindness, and get rid of all the dinim, all the judgments, that person has priority over the moel, over a few other people, and that just shows the importance of what the chazan is, what his role is, the shliach sibor. He's literally a shliach of the sibor. Now I'm just going to add in a bit of chassidus. Rabbi Nachman says the concept, the shliach sibor needs to be someone who's malaket the nekudas tovas, who's able to bring out the nekudas tovas. So that's someone who sees the good in the Sibor, in the community, because he's able to elevate the community's tefillahs. I remember I had the schus to daven by Rav Simon Zilberberg many years, and this tzaddik, he used to see my tefillahs. How do I know? Because he'd come up to me afterwards and give me brachas that were exactly what I'd davened for, and I never said nothing. So he knew what I'd davened for. He'd cleaned up my tefillahs for years when I was by him, and all of my tefillahs I felt were makayim when I was with the tzaddik. So there are such people, they're real shliach sibur, they're able to mamish clean up. The tefillahs go through the tzaddik, and they clean them up and send them to Mala. Like Michal, the angel, he sends up the neshamas of the Talmid Chachomim that go up to the certain level in heaven. I actually talk about this in Slichos. If you pay attention, you'll see. And Slichos talks about the higher worlds. One of the Slichos explained that angel Michal is elevating all the souls. He's offering up korbanos. What are the korbanos in the heavenly world? The souls of tzaddikim who pass away. He's sending there through the aroma of the korban to a higher world, higher and higher worlds. So the idea that the tzaddik is elevating our praise. This similar kind of image, if you can imagine it. They clean it up and send it up. So that's the concept, because we don't always daven so clean. The tzaddikim daven clean. 29. It says here underneath, Slichos each day begins with Ashrei followed by Haf Kaddish. You remember that? Ashrei Shevei Veisech, special one. Okay, I don't know the nusach, honestly. The halachic authorities differ regarding the obligation of tzitzits when donning a garment at night. This is generally worn by day. The whole mitzvah says already by the day. Begin Sliechot when it's light enough to recite the blessing. So a lot of people do it by the time, like most of us, Daven in the morning, the rest of the time after the first night. So we have so you can say a bracha, no problem. But if people get up really early or they do the middle of the night, so they're going to have a shaila, and that's when we have to rely on this heter of taking someone else's talis. Okay, generally one does not recite a blessing upon wearing a talis that does not belong to himself. That was the whole heter we just said before. The congregation talis belongs to all its members. However, and one would normally be required to recite a blessing, and one would normally be required to recite a blessing upon wearing it. So therefore it's a question whether the talis of the Kehilas are better, just the congregation better to take the friend's talis. And by the talis one should do so with the intention of not to acquire the talis. You don't own it, you're just borrowing it. But merely to borrow it in honor of the congregation. If you intend to acquire it, it would be acquired to recite a bracha. So if you suddenly say, I own this talis. I'll tell you a funny story. My dad came to Eretz Yisrael, and he stayed in a fancy hotel somewhere, like, I don't remember, like Mamilla, I don't remember, he was staying somewhere with the King David, somewhere around there. So he said, he'll meet me at the Kotel, Shabbos day. So I come down to the Kotel, and I'm by there, and I'm looking for him, and I join the minyan, and I look up and I see him, he's in the minyan with me. He was there the whole time, I didn't see him. And he's wearing a beautiful talis, like brand new. I was so excited, I was like, wow, Dad, where'd you get this new talis? It was Machlis's minyan, if you heard of Machlis, yeah? Rabbi Machlis, Sadek, but Big Bar Chesed. So Rabbi Machlis, so we're in his minyan, it's around 8 something in the morning, and he's got the talis, a beautiful talis. So I said to him, where'd you get that, Dad? He said, I just went and bought it in the shuk, the Arab shuk. I said, really? Arab market, he said. He bought an Arab market? I said, Dad, it's Shabbos. You can't buy a mitzvah in Shabbos, yeah? He goes, yeah, I got a good price for it as well. And he gave me a wink. He said, don't worry, the rabbi gave it to me. He was just winding me up. Okay, anyway, he didn't make a bracha on it. Or maybe he did. He probably did, actually. But you're not actually obligated to make a bracha because you're borrowing it, yeah? Anyway, one of the customs my dad does every year, even though I did get him a pair of tefillin, is he's noeg not to wear tefillin on Chol HaMoed. You get that joke? His custom is not to wear tefillin on Chol HaMoed. Did you get that? The joke?
It's a joke, I don't get it. It's custom not to wear it.
B'derech klal, the whole year round. He's got a tefillin, I just have to push him to wear them. He told me he does once in a while. Anyway, Chol HaMoed, it may be funny. When one of my relatives came to Israel, my dad should be well, but one of my uncles came, and he also should be well. He was so excited, he came up to me and he said, look, I want to show you something. I said, what? It was Shabbos. He pulled out of his bag, tefillin, talis, everything. I'm like, it's Shabbos. I was like, I didn't say nothing. I just smiled. I said, wow. He said, yeah, I've been putting them on. You must be so proud of me. And I was like, yeah. He said, I even put them on today. I was like, wow. Shabbos. Poor guy. No, I didn't laugh. I'm sure Hashem gets nachas from all kinds of stories.
That's a good one.
What do we know? Anyway, he should be well. Gambalo Talashish Komis Nogin, the place where it's custom. Yeah, so we did this already. Okay, let's see the next concept. 33. This refers to Shlosh Esrei Midas Rachamim. The third attribute removes the beginning of Hashem Karachum V'chanan Erech Apam Rach Chesed V'emes Nasa Chesed L'fim Nasa Avos Chatam Anachga. When possible, the Chatan should be especially careful to wear a talis when reciting this passage. So when possible, doesn't mean it's ma'akev, but where possible is better according to the Levush and other tzaddikim. Okay, one who is proximity of a synagogue and hears the congregation trying the 13 attributes should respond along with them. While there's no halakhic requirement, it's an advantage of those praying if more people join in their prayers. One should even interrupt his Torah study for this, unless he is studying with a group. This is the Geras of Moshe. Yeah, Moshe Feinstein. So the anniversary of the death of a parent, and one observing Yotzai, a moral, and the morning usually have precedence to serve as chazan. But however, in this case, the one who leads the Sliechot should lead the prayers of the entire day. However, one who is observing Yotzai, even a mourner, may be the chazan for the last portion of Shacharis, beginning of Ashrei. So that's a good eitzah. The V'ol Etzion Mishnah Berurah brings the concept that Bishop brings that from a V'ol Etzion, Ashrei Etzion, he can say. So that's a clever concept because they basically are taking turns. You get it? They're taking turns, Holy Yid. They're taking turns with the mitzvah, with the Devar mitzvah. So they both get the merit. So the Chazan from Sliechot gets to say Shacharis, and then the other guy who has the Chiyuv, the Moel, and the other people, the Yotzai person, he gets to Makayim his Chiyuv by doing the rest of Shacharis. So they chetzi, but you divide it up. That's a Shalom Yisor. Anyway, my wife's telling me she needs some chizuk. That's why I'm getting a message from her. She needs some chizuk. But anyway, we're carrying learning, and in the merit of the learning, should give my wife chizuk, give my son chizuk, Baruch chizuk Mamesha. I was meant to be going to Rafiach, but for some reason there's some sort of update. I don't know what's going on. Some sort of change. We'll find out. Okay. Mi shekashala, one who has difficulty standing for the entire service, of Yamad L'chol Hapachis Mamiris Kal Melech Yoshvei. This guy, it's hard for him, should at least stand the recitation of Kel Melech Yoshev, Shalosh Yesei Midas, and the recitation of the 13 attributes. The din amiris avidui for the laws regarding recitation of confession, and the commandment. So there's halachas that you should stand up certain points, but during the rest of slichas, when you're not saying the Kel Melech Yoshev or the vidui, the rest of the time you can sit. And it's definitely, especially if it's hard for you. Obviously, there's always our ideal, you can stand. But the main point is to be standing up, getting ready for the Yud Mitzvah for sure, for the Yud Mitzvah the 13 attributes, and video and confession. Towards the end of Slichas, you should stand up. Remember, we makatza the video, if you remember. We're going to talk about in a minute, maybe we'll do this for next week, Shoftim. Will be next week's parsha is Kisei. We'll talk about the kind of Chazan, the Shliach Sibur. The main thing is it should be someone who is a Talmid Chacham and good person and needs to be at least 30 years old. Certain things that have changed by that point. He's come to a certain level of maturity. So we're going to discuss that next. And once again, as I said, we got Rosh Shlomo Katz. We got a lot of good things. And Baruch Hashem, Hashem helps us with everything in life, and it's just a matter of working and going with the ups and downs, and keeping strong, and trying our best to do the Avodah of Elul with the most energy and the most kavanah and the most Mesiras Nefesh to try daven to Hashem be'emes, and I think that would be a big segula for Shana Tova, Kasiv Chasima Tova. Now, Tzedek Tirdav. Says the Nesivos Shalom. Leman Tchiyeh Yereshes Es Aretz. By pursuing justice and limud zchus, you will merit what? To inherit the land. Now, I have a chiddush. I'm going to tell you something. I told it the other day. It's my own idea. Could be it's not emes, but I think it's emes. If you look in the Chumash, many times it says a lashon reshet. What's a reshet in modern day Hebrew?
Don't know.
What are you using right now?
Computer, keyboard.
And what's it connected to?
To electricity. Oh, okay.
No, what's it connected to? More than that.
To the internet.
And what's the word for internet in Hebrew?
And reshet?
Reshet. It's like a net. Literally, it's capturing you. The internet, the net, the reshet is the same lashon as Yereshes, to inherit. So my vort is that I believe every time in Devarim, say for Devarim, it says Larishta or Lareshet or Yereshet, it's talking about the internet because the Torah is eternal. So the end of the Torah is talking about our time in history. If you see it, calls Achros Yomim, especially in the Psalmim, it says Beferish and Vayelech. It says we're at the Achros Yom, the end of days, end of the Torah. We're dealing with the end of the what happened in the Torah. It's the generation that come into the land. That's our generation. We're coming back to the land. So even though it's talking about all thousands of years ago, it's referring also in an eternal way to our generation. So we're also inheriting what? The internet. We are able to conquer the internet, not just the Eretz Yisrael. Eretz Yisrael is the Mokum Panemius, and the internet is also a place to bring the name of Hashem and bring all the Torah to kovesh the internet, to give us ability to have atzlacha on the internet, success on the internet. It shouldn't become a place where people say, the words of God forsaken, because in Yiddishkeit, in Chassidus especially, there's no God forsaken. Everything's Hashem. Everything's Hashem Echad. Targum Onkelos Tzedek Milas Emes. The whole Indian of Tzedek is the aspect of the word of Emes, is the word of Emes. So when you're pursuing Tzedek, you're pursuing truth. Kushta Ti'irod Radif. It says in Nesivos Shalom, you have to pursue the Emes. You have to be a seeker, a discoverer of truth, a seeker of truth. Yeah, strive for truth, like they call it Dessa Sefer. You have to be Michtav Eliyahu, striving for truth. And we know that one of the pillars is what? Truth. This is one of them. Masha Kushta. So the other Kushta Kai, this concept of a pillar and seeking out the emes. Yesh lahabim machazal maskilim yaziru kazoa harakia. The wise ones are careful like or shining like the shining sky. Zeh dain shadan din emes lamita. This clarity, this behirus, this is something Rosh Shlomo was talking about, the idea of going after shlemus, amiti, true completion, and going after behirus, clarity. This is what a dayan should be busy with, a judge. If you ever met a judge, I had the merit to learn Chavrusa with a dayan, he's very clear. It makes him a dayan. He knows what he's talking about. Dayan dan din emes amito. He judges with truth, the true truth. Ma perish emes amito. What does it mean, the truth of truth? The Hillel dayan shadan din emes. You have to make sure that, like Hillel, you judge for truth. We need to explain this. Ma galas b'zeh shadin din emes amito. Ad she'ala nema hamaskilim yazir kizar. That you are able to light up the sky with your truth. Yeah, you're going to be such a person. Light up this world with truth. Light up the sky, the heavens. Yeah, good times. The Rakia. It says, Rabbeinu Zal, Dava Muvan Ma'alav. It's something that's understandable from itself. Shesarech le dan din emes. That your person needs to judge everything according to truth. Chein sarach bir chazal od. It says in Gemara Shabbos, Daf Yud, Kol dain shedan din amito, emes amito, nase shutav lakodesh baruch hu. Any judge who judges things according to emes amito, the truth for truth, is a partnership with what? Has a partnership with Hashem. That's how we deal with things. Yeah, has a partnership with Hashem. And he becomes a partner to Kodesh Baruch Hu in Ma'aseh Bereshis. And he reaches a higher and higher level. And we need to explain what's the greatness in this? That he done din emes lamito. Yeah, that he's someone who is judging towards the truth. And he reaches a very high level. That he becomes someone who's mishtatef not just with Hashem but in Ma'aseh Bereshis, and he reaches a very high level by being an emestika dayan. This is like deciding the reality in this world through the judgments of a dayan, of a judge. And that's someone who has a tremendous level, obviously, if he's doing it correctly. He's doing it with Yiras Shamayim and the way Hashem wants it. That's the kind of din we need, the madregas we need to, be around such people, emes amito, true seekers. One of the stories they bring down, very famous story about Rabbi Nachman, that he was the Rebbe from Rabbi Nosson. Rabbi Nosson was actually, I think, older than him, and he was actually a real dayan and a head of a community. So he was a very big person himself from Nosson. But when he came to Rabbi Nachman Zal, he came, and Nachman Fein from Simcha, he came to him with bittul. He came to him and nullified himself to the Rebbe, to the Rabbi Nachman, and he took on whatever he would tell him, especially when he was offered a position to become a chief rabbi of a high level position of a town. He went to his Rebbe and asked him, should I take this on? And the Rebbe said, yeah. So he said, but emes? He said, yeah. He says, but what does a Rebbe really say? Emes amito. What's the truth of truths? I don't want to just do what most people do. I want to do what the truth of truths. Emes amito. That's what Nosson was concerned about. So Nachman said, if you're asking for the emes amito, then no. Don't become a dayan for that community. Don't become the head of the chief rabbi. Don't have that big, elevation of whatever it's called. What happens when you get a higher promotion? You don't want to get that promotion. You need to go to do what's true to you. That's what we need to focus on. Inyan k'da'esa b'toras avos al pasuk zeh diyesh medrega shal emes shi mitzad ha'aretz hadas v'al. And this is the matter in Toras Avos. He says that there is a level on the emes according to the light of das and the moyach and the mind. And this goes above the level of truth according to the point in the heart. And also in the emotions to the heart. You start to figure out what is the truth. Yeah, not only the level of truth, the truth seeker, his mind is taken to a higher and higher place, but he starts to get into tune with the point of the heart that's able to fill out the truth. And he reaches the level of the truth that brings him up to the level of in all his limbs. This is the level of pursuing the truth. Is it manifests? It becomes part of your limbs, your heart, your mayach, your whole being is consumed with truth. And if a Kodesh Baruch Hu would help the Yehudi, then he's going to be merit. The fact that Kodesh Baruch Hu is helping us gives us ability to connect into the light of das, of knowledge, and the moyach, the brain is receiving that truth. Kushta tiyaradim. We have to pursue it. It's not going to come easy. We have to go after it. Naturally, the world is almost sheker, it's a world of lies. Yeah, look at what's going on now with the internet, with the resha itself, becoming filled with lies, where you don't even know what the truth is. You don't know AI, this thing, that thing, everything's fake. So now, when you're in such a world, to become someone of truth, and you're consumed with the internet, it's very hard. You have to pursue it even harder. You have to work for it, to constantly come to truth. To draw this down to the light of the heart. So you should live with the truth. And your chayas is coming from the truth. And the chayas comes through the heart. The whole idea of the Baal Shem Tov is ratz v'shav. The heart beats. It beats life force into you. So you have to realize that when you're going through that experience in life, it should be the ruts, the running of the heart and the resting of the heart. That's the essence of how your life comes through. It should come through with truth. So then you inherit the land. Because then you have ability to inherit all the lands and all the physicality. Because there are many levels from the hill all the way to the head. As we said, in the brain, in the heart, in the limbs. The problem is that the tzaddikim say that there is falsehood in the mouth. We don't always say things. And once we're saying things that aren't true, then there's the falsehood in our limbs. And then we start doing actions and things of falsehood. He brings from a tzaddik, from its Rebbe, the Lekevich, we have to pursue the truth, the emes. The chapish, it's the emes be'emes. We have to really seek out the truth with truth. And there is people that seek out the truth, but not from the truth. Meaning they have like some sort of blurred truth. You get the real emes, amito. This takes someone who's pursuing it be'emes. Not only learning the halachas, but also seeking it out from Hashem. That's something we have to really, all of us have to work on. Yeah? And that's something all of us have within us, the ability to be truth seekers. We're going to end off with this. Now remember, we're going to get to Rosh Hashanah, and we're going to come to this holy day. We're just learning halachas of Elul, about Sliechot and the Chazan and all these special things, and the talis. Now we're getting all the way at the end of Elul. Well, this is the goal. We're coming after this. This is already the fourth Shabbos of Nechamta, so we've got 3 more to go after the Shabbos. So that's how soon we are. We're going to have the opportunity to stand in front of Hashem on Rosh Hashanah, and it's a day, as it says in this pasuk it brings, it's a day of emes. There's no escaping Hashem Yisbarach ever in the truth, escaping Hashem. But on Rosh Hashanah, it's clear to us that we're standing in front of Hashem. We feel the pachad, we feel the yira, we feel the ema, we feel all these powerful feelings that the world is about to be judged, and we want it to be through Kisei Rachamim, we want it through the throne of mercy. We tuned after all the years of Rachamim, we brought down with David Hashem Uri, bringing down mercy. We don't want to go through another year like this past year with all the terrible tragedies. We want to have a year of mercy, a year of Rachamim, where all of Klal Yisrael are safe and looked after, and Shmer Leona. So we're standing in front of Hashem, and we're having these feelings, and this is the key is to understand it's all done according to Emes, to Tzedek Tirdov. It's all a fi Emes. So if we're in the realm of Emes, then we're going to tune into the day of what Rosh Hashanah is. Taliban Lavtcha Be'emes, to purify our hearts of Emes. Torah Nikras Emes. Torah is Emes. It's called Emes. It says in Micha Titan Emes to Yaakov. That Hashem gave the truth to Yaakov. Yeah. V'chein Ketziv Svas Emes Tikkun La'ad. These are all famous Pesukim. This is the Mishlei. That Hashem gave the lips of truth and it will stand forever. Perish Rabbeinu Kodesh. Afilu Safa Dainu Katza Mashu Ba'ama. Even if he goes a little bit away from the emes, a tiny bit, Imze Be'emes Tukhanad. The other way around. If the Safa is cut, is open a little bit, Ba'ama in this world, and if it's for the truth, then it will be established. Lahefech Amur Perish B'Dava Sheka Tirchak. And we know from the Pesukim that you should stay away from Sheker, you should distance yourself. Because speaking falsehoods distance you from Hashem Yisbarach. You have to always work on being Ish Emes, someone who says truth. This is Tzedek Tirdov from this week's Parsha. As I said, at my engagement Vort party of this time of year, when the Yeshiva began, we made the Vort thing, because I got engaged to Bab, and we only made the party once the Yeshiva began. And we said at my Vort, we said, Tzedek Tirdov, we said, Sat Kamimeni. My wife is more righteous than I. The concept of Emes Tikkun husband knows his wife's always correct. So you're going to say that's not truth. That's not the Emes. Maybe she's not. But maybe she is, maybe she isn't. But the point is that for Shalom, the Emes is in this case that we mashana the Emes for the sake of Shalom. And that's the only situation where we can be a little bit more flexible, is for the sake of Shalom. But the bottom line is, the goal is because we're seeking out truth. That's our kavanah. We don't become ragil with saying sheker because of shalom bayis. We are seeking out the truth again and again and again. Every day we're pursuing it. We're coming at ish emes, and that tunes us into this concept of truth, the way Hashem runs the world with tzedek and justice, and we're now part of that world of truth, and that gives us ability to have a powerful avoda of being Makadish our whole life with truth, elevating everything with Emes. Emes is forever. Emes is something which is eternal. So if in the end of the day you've been truthful, and maybe you sacrificed a little bit in this world, but you've been truthful, you're now part of eternity. And I remember that, I'll give another story, when I worked for Yeshiva and they were doing things not so great towards some of the people there, and I said to the rabbi, I said, I dedicated myself to this Yeshiva, and they're not running it so emistic, they're not being so truthful in how they're doing things, in terms of how they're taking care of people and things like this, and different issues. And one of the people there said to me, everything you've done for this yeshiva is netzach nisochim, is eternal, and it will be with you forever, no matter what happens. And Baruch Hashem, soon afterwards, I no longer worked with this yeshiva. Not because they got rid of me, but because I was told by my rabbonim that I need to move away from it. And I went back to Kollel and I stayed away from the whole balagan. It didn't last too much longer, that yeshiva, so Baruch Hashem, I didn't lose much. But the Nakuda was that the Emes is eternal. And that I had to remind myself, if you're doing something for Emes, for truth, you're part of eternity. And you don't have to worry about how it manifests down here with all the lies that go on down in this world. You're not beholden to that. You're beholden to Hashem, beholden to the truth, and you're part of eternity. And that's something which, Baruch Hashem, I've tried to always live that way. And I'm named after Reb Dessler, who I mentioned before, Miktav Eliyahu. His sefer is called Strive for Truth. And Eliyahu Eliezer Dessler was someone who was an Ish Emes. So I'm trying to live up to a little bit to my name sake and be a person of Emes. And with that, we should be blessed with beautiful Shabbos, a Shabbos of Shoftim, to have beautiful judges that rule over us, our mouth, our eyes, our ears, and our smell, and everything we're busy with should be with Shoftim. And with that, if we guard all our different parts of ourselves with truth, then we'll be blessed with the eternal Shabbos of Yom Shekula Shabbos. Amen. Keep steiging.